All right, it is Trust No One, and I'm here on the industry's most wanted podcast with Tampa.
The reason it's the heat when we meet, and I ride the wave Caribbean. Won't fade away like the seasons. Yeah, I'll be there by the weekend. Caught a vibe, it's cohesion, making my mission to please him, and he ain't gotta ask me why, cause I know he the reason. It's the heat when we meet, and I ride the wave Caribbean. Won't fade away like the seasons. Yeah, I'll be there by the weekend.
What's going on, man? It's your girl, TampaMystic, and we're live on the industry's most wanted podcast. Boom!
Wanted.
And we got my girl, Trust No One in the building. How are you, my love?
I'm doing very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. Go ahead and give us that official introduction.
All right. Well, I am Trust No One. I'm originally from the St. Louis, like Southern Illinois area. I was out in Denver for about 5 years. I just moved here about 2 months ago. So yeah, trying to make a name for myself out here in Atlanta. But I've got a really good presence already in Denver. Got a lot of connects I still use out there and everything, but definitely trying to, start something fresh here and make a name for myself.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Well, I'm excited because I think that I need more female presence around me. Majority of the interviews that get booked, they're men, which, of course I love the fellas. Shout out to the fellas. But I just feel like I need more female presence. So I'm excited that you're here today.
Thank you.
And I'm excited to be able to, potentially show you around the city and, get you involved with some of the stuff that's going on. So take us back though, so when you was little, what were you into before music?
So, really, I've always been into music since I was really little.
Okay.
I did soccer when I was in elementary school and things like that. I love to swim and stuff, but really, singing and acting was a huge thing for me growing up.
Yeah.
And I even did little shows at the YMCA and just things like that. But I always had a passion for singing, really, is what it was.
Yeah.
But here and there, doing stuff, especially acting and stuff too. I acted a lot in middle school and high school growing up and stuff. So
Yeah.
definitely a thespian for sure. But
is that something that you think that you'll also pursue, along with you being an artist, as being an actress as well?
yeah, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I definitely, music is the passion, is what I really the goal, of course, is to be able to just, do this and really make all my money off of my music and,
Yeah.
my career. But I would love to throw acting back in there. I would love to do movies and TV shows and things like that.
Absolutely.
I think that'd be awesome.
It would be.
We'll see what happens, over time. But yeah, if I got the opportunity, I probably would.
About how old were you when you really started taking music seriously? This is a business. I got to get my business together. About how old were you?
Well, I feel like I did it pretty late. I feel like really I started taking it serious during the pandemic.
Okay.
Because I just had that free time.
Yeah.
And I feel like, shout out to my moms. I love my mom so much. But rap is definitely not their forte. So it was kind of, I really I'd always loved rap, but I would never really have started rapping, I guess.
Yeah.
I was just I would write poetry and, do that kind of stuff. But then me and my mom's, we kind of took a little bit of a break from each other, and I really just started exploring myself. And I'm I know that they wouldn't have liked this, but let me just check it out. Let me just see what I want to rap about and what I want to say and what beats I want to do and that kind of stuff. Because I'm also just such a relationship oriented person. I'm this is a way for me to meet people
Absolutely.
and to collaborate. So I checked it out, and I would say it was probably about 2020. So, that was 3 or 4 years ago. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we're probably around the age of 21 or so.
Yeah.
And that's when I was I don't want this to just be a hobby, or something that I enjoy doing. It's great for that, but I really do I want to make this into my business. That's what I
Absolutely.
want. And now me and my moms are really close again, and
Yeah.
they've both actually come and seen my concerts. And even my dad has, my sister has. But even though it's not their forte, they're still very, very, very supportive.
That is amazing. And that's what it's all about. It's even if they're not really into, rap music or anything like that, as long as they're supportive, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
That is really dope. So you came to Atlanta or the Atlanta area because your dad is out here.
Yes.
You've been, building a relationship with him. You and I kind of discussed that. We don't have to get into too deep, you know what I'm saying? But I think that is amazing. What has it been like for you? I know you've been out here a short time, but how's it been so far?
It's been crazy. I've met him a couple times here and there.
Yeah.
But I hadn't really I mean, really, the majority of the time that we'd spent together for the last like 3 or 4 years had been like holidays and seeing each other, for a couple days at a time.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because now, like, not only do I see him all the time because we're in the same area, but I also live with him.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting because it's like he's really my twin, like to a T. And there's some like very small, like little nitpicky things that he does that kind of drive me crazy.
That is funny.
But it's a daughter father relationship that's like growing there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like the amount of stuff that we have in common is just crazy. And he really has become like my best friend, which is what I wanted coming here. And so, yeah, it's been good, especially, the time that he's been going through right now. Like, I think he even like, stopped me today and was telling me that, I'm really what's been pushing him through all of that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I love hearing that because it's like, I mean, that was a big reason why I moved here. I mean, I wanted to do my music and that was something super important to me, but just developing that relationship and really like getting to know each other and building that connection, I think is just so important, especially since we are just so similar.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, it's been absolutely insane, like getting to know him and we're constantly together. Like we literally work together. And so it's just like we carpool together.
Oh,
yeah.
That's dope. It's really giving you an opportunity for you and him to bond, make up for the time that you guys didn't, get to spend, in your younger years, but it's like, if you can jump in and not skip a beat, that's so amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Does he like your music?
Yes, he does. He's a rap guy. I mean, his favorite rapper today is still DMX.
Okay.
And, I mean, it's ridiculous. He used to send me videos like all the time of him like rapping and stuff to me, just like support me and stuff. And it's really good. Like he'll rap like DMX and he's like, stop. And he's like trying to like do signs with his hands. And I'm like, just stop. It's all right. But yeah, he's really supportive. He's gone with me to the studio, which he didn't know if he would like. He was like, it's going to be boring if I just sit there the whole time. And then he sat there and he was like, no, actually this was awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So it's been good. He's been very supportive of my music, and he definitely is a rap fan, so that's been good. That's something definitely different than my two moms. They're just I don't know if they would actually like really go out and be in that scene. Like they'll support from a distance.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
Understood. It's not for everybody, you know. But I think that's dope. And coming out here by yourself, you needed someone to kind of protect you when you are in certain situations. So that's amazing that he, will go to the studio, and he probably would even go to a show with you if you really needed him to.
Yeah. I mean, even for like New Year's, we went out to the club together.
Did you really?
Yeah, and it was crazy because I mean, he's always told me since I first met him that he feels like he is really like, even though he's 59, he feels like he's like in his early 20s.
100%.
And he's always felt that way.
Yeah.
And so it's really funny. Like people my age really get along with my dad. Like I've taken him to music videos before and stuff. And like he'll make more connections than I do. And I'm like, what is going on here? But like, he's like, yeah, I was talking to him yesterday on Instagram, whatever. And I'm like, all right, like that's fine.
Funny.
Yeah. So I mean, people have really vibed with it. Like I bring him to a lot of my music stuff now, and I think it's interesting too, because it's like I walk in and people know who I am because I'm this like small little white rapper coming in with her dad, and I'm like, yeah, like he's ready to listen to it and he supports it 100%. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Being a female in the business, being a white female in the business, I understand. I'm a white female in this business, and I know that I would say, for the most part, it's been good for me because like I came to Atlanta and people just welcomed me with open arms, because they knew that it wasn't about clout for me. I really genuinely love this. How has it been for you, being a white female in a predominantly Black business?
It's been interesting because I've really only had one show so far that I've been here. And it was definitely a different crowd than I'm used to, just because, I was performing in Denver, which, is definitely a majority white people.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because it gave me a perspective, like people still really vibe with it. I got a lot of connections after it, but it did make me step back and realize like, okay, I have a different audience here.
Yeah.
Like there is like, there's certain songs. I have such an array of songs.
Yeah.
And so it's like, maybe I need to start thinking about like what exactly I want to say to certain audiences.
Absolutely.
So it's been really good. But especially in the studio, like I've been really welcomed. People have been Really impressed. Like, you know, a lot of my compliments have been that I'm just not here to waste any time.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to, I don't bring like a huge posse with me everywhere I go. Like if I go somewhere, it's with my dad.
Yeah.
Or it's, you know, me by myself. But, you know, I'm really focused on my craft and what I'm doing, and I'm working, you know, I'm trying to grind. I'm trying to get a bag. So, so it's been, they've been really welcoming, especially just like, you know, just, I guess, getting the vibe off of me and my dad, like when we come off and like how we're joking and stuff. And yeah, it's been really, really good. Everybody's been super welcoming. And I'm really excited to continue to perform here.
Yeah.
Just because I think the more that I perform, obviously, you know, practice makes perfect. So
Absolutely.
it's like the more that I get out there and the more that I really understand what the audience is like that's only going to help me. So
100%. I think as an artist, you need to touch that stage as much as possible because it helps you perfect it. You know, I tell these artists, if you can't perform in front of a crowd of whatever's in the building, 50, 100, 200 people, what are you going to do when you get on that big stage with 10,000 people?
Exactly.
You know, if not for nothing, it's good practice and you can network, like you said, and meet new people.
Yep.
And Atlanta's that type of city. It's very welcoming here. You know what I'm saying? There's definitely a lot of Southern hospitality.
Yes, for sure.
I've been coming here for years. I was coming out here back in the 90s for Freaknik, y'all. I might be on that documentary. You know, but it's funny because I told myself back then, I said, man, I'm gonna live there one day because I just love the culture.
Right.
It's so amazing. So outside of music, what else you like doing?
So, I mean, outside of music, I mean, I'm definitely still into writing. I'm a really big writer. I'm constantly writing. I also am a big partaker in smoking, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I love to smoke. So I would say I'm constantly doing that. I can pearl a blunt no matter how long these nails are.
I know that's right.
Yeah, but yeah, I would say that. I'm a big like movie person. I also love to hike and be outside. That's a huge thing for me.
Me too. So we're gonna have to get together and go hiking sometime.
Yes, and I haven't really like done too much adventuring like out here in the like Georgia area. I've checked out a couple of places. Like I went to Helen a few weeks ago and
so
stuff.
beautiful out there.
Yeah, and it's definitely like it does really remind me of like being in Colorado. It's obviously different. You know, it's not the freezing cold when I go up into the mountains.
Right.
But it's really nice, and I really want to get out and do more of that here because it's gorgeous, and I really hadn't even thought of that moving to Atlanta. But I'm like, wow, like it really is gorgeous down here. Even just how green it is. Like
absolutely.
I've missed the green. Like it has been so much Colorado dry like, all the time. And it's like, it's so nice to come out here and I'm like, wow, this is how it's supposed to be.
Absolutely. That's me. When I'm not doing this music stuff, I'm on somebody's trail or in somebody's mountain. Like I just absolutely love doing that.
Yep.
Did you go to Yona Mountain when you was in Colorado?
No. So I stayed mostly over in like Estes.
Okay.
So I was over in like Estes Park and like Rocky Mountain National Park. I did that a lot. Honestly, best place that I ever went to was Crested Butte, honestly. I mean, it was gorgeous. And during the spring, I always recommend go like March, April, May, because the flowers are blooming, the wildflowers.
Where is that at?
It's like this little town called Crested Butte, and they have like, I mean, it's just crazy. I don't know what it is about that area, but it's just the wildflowers go crazy on the side of the mountains.
Oh my gosh, I gotta go.
Yes, and I did so much hiking like last year, especially during that time, and like even going into like June and July. I mean, it's just gorgeous. So, and it's really not that far from Denver. It's like, I think it's like an hour and a half, 2 hour drive.
That's so worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
You could do that as a day trip.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to. So being in the area that you're in, have you done Arabia Mountain yet?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
It's so dope.
Yeah?
Definitely check it out.
Okay.
I like it because it's not as crowded. Like we have Stone Mountain out here. Have you done Stone Mountain?
Yeah, I have.
It's cool, but it's like always crowded. There's always a ton of people. But Arabia Mountain's really dope. It's like a lot longer. You know, once you get up, you can go out probably 2 miles.
Yeah.
But there's, it's never crowded. And I've been out there by myself plenty of times and I never felt like, oh, I'm scared. It was nothing like that. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
So definitely check out Arabia Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, her and I gonna get together and go hiking sometime. That's one thing that I've really have not found too many people. Like I have a couple of people, they'll go with me once or twice and then they just never go again. I'm like, so I always end up going by myself. You're gonna be my new hiking buddy.
Okay, I'm down.
Because I gotta lose about 25 pounds, so we gotta get on these mountains. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. We gotta get ready for the summer.
Exactly. So being out here in Atlanta, do you feel like it's gonna help you with your music?
For sure. I don't see how it could not be beneficial to me in my career.
Yeah.
Especially as long as, I'm continuing to work on, constantly promoting myself and being out there. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be great. I've already got so many new connections just from being at Patchwork itself, which was absolutely insane. Just, I mean, shout out to my guys in Denver and the studios that I was in. I mean, they were, small, but they were personal. And that's like what I started with. You know, when I first got into a studio, it was in Denver and it wasn't anything like elaborate and crazy. But then like going into Patchwork was insane for me because it was like, wow, like, these people mean business. And it's like just going in there and stuff, and like all the engineers are just, so crazy talented, and the people there are amazing. Management was great. So it was just, it's been awesome. I think, it can only get better as far as, even quality of my music has gone crazy up. And I've noticed too, like with the quality of like just being like around certain people and, really like, I mean, I got really lucky to have this engineer here that I recorded with. Thanks, Dane. He's awesome. Definitely recommend him. But yeah, I like got to record with him, and it was so nice because he was just so like, it was so comfortable. Yeah. And so it's like I'm in this really serious environment, but at the same time, like there's somebody to make me feel so comfortable. And it's like now it's like I'm doing songs in like less than an hour, and we're just flipping like all the time. And it's crazy. So yeah, I think it can only get better, like, for my music, for, promoting myself. I mean, the rap community out here is just absolutely insane. Like, this is where stuff is happening.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And, I love being out here. I'm definitely, like, a relationship person. I love to collaborate, love to meet people. So I think, really I'm in the perfect place for that.
100%. Atlanta's one of those spots where you can go and you just never know who you might run into out here. When I first moved to Atlanta, my first hosting gig was at Magic City, which is like one of the most well-known strip clubs.
Yeah.
But I met so many people, like, because a lot of these artists and rappers, T.I., Future, Free Young Thug, like, they all used to come through there. And it was just dope to be able to connect with them on a different level. Like, it wasn't about, like, oh, we're doing music right now. They in a strip club chilling. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think Atlanta's one of those spots where if you're trying to pursue your music, this is where you need to be at.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're wanting to go, I would say like really the big hubs for music right now, I feel like is, Atlanta, New York, and being over in LA. I feel like those are the big places. Memphis is really coming up right now.
Memphis is on fire.
Yes, and I love my Memphis rappers, absolutely. So, I'm big about that. And I hope that they end up getting to, like Atlanta. Like, I mean, I want them to be established like that.
I absolutely agree.
But I think like out of all the places, I mean, if you really want to make a name for yourself and get somewhere, those are the places that you got to be at.
Absolutely. But if you're going to be in New York or LA, you got to have a bag because it's very expensive.
Exactly.
So expensive to live there. Atlanta's getting kind of expensive too, but it's definitely not where it is. Like probably a $1,500 a month apartment here is going to cost you about $4,000 in LA, which is crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, even living in Denver was crazy. I mean, I had a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. I mean, it was small. I didn't have any outside space, anything like that. I was paying $1,200 a month, and that was just base, not even utilities on top of it.
Wow.
And I mean, now like I split a place with my dad. But we have an absolutely gorgeous like 2-bedroom, 2-bath. We have a whole back patio and everything, and we pay like $1,400 a month for it, and we split it.
What?
Yes. And it's just like
wow.
Like, and that also is crazy too, because it's like that means that's all that extra money that I can throw into my music.
100%. Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, that's like, like you were saying, I mean, unless you have a serious bag, I don't recommend the other two places. I mean, unless you like, establish yourself in Atlanta or Memphis or something like that, and then you want to move out. But I feel like if you're wanting to really grow yourself and not have to spend literally $4,000 on an apartment, I mean, Atlanta is the place to be at.
Absolutely. And I would never suggest that if you're going to put $4,000 into your home, own it.
Exactly.
Like for real. But, apartments or rentals are nice because that way, if anything happens, you call up the landlord, you call the maintenance or whatever. Hey, come fix it. You ain't got to worry about it.
Exactly.
And it doesn't necessarily tie you into one spot. Like, because you might be like, you know what, I want to stay here for a couple of years and move somewhere else. Now you don't have to worry about selling a home. You can just, boom, get up and go when your lease is up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that's why I feel like a lot of people in Colorado really aren't buying homes right now. Yeah. Is because it's just crazy expensive.
So expensive.
I mean, it's absolutely insane. It's like the house that I grew up in, my parents paid like $200K for.
Right.
But if that same house were over in Colorado, I mean, I'm talking several millions. And it's just crazy to me.
Wow.
And it's like, I know that we were in Southern Illinois, so it was nowhere fancy, but it's crazy. And a lot of people, I mean, it's a lot that you're putting yourself into if you're actually going to like really buy a home in Colorado.
Right.
So it's like that was another big thing for me because, you know, I rented all 5 years that I was there and
Yeah.
I loved it. I had a lot of different places that I loved, and I kind of went all over the place, like all over
Yeah.
the state. But yeah, like being here and stuff, I mean, even just driving around and everything, I'm like, this is definitely somewhere I could buy a house.
Yeah.
And that's something I love. Like, I'm like, man, it's just so pretty. Even just like raising kids here, having a family here. I'm
Absolutely.
like, this is the place. Yeah. So
Do you want to have kids?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely not in the near future. I think, you know, I mean, shout out to all like the moms out there that are also pursuing their careers and
Yeah.
everything. But I think, you know, I really want to just grind out me and,
agree.
you know, really focus on me, especially being in this brand new place. And then, you know, once I get to that place, you know, and I find a person I want to be with, and yeah, I definitely want kids. I want to, you know, I want to have that nice house and raise a family. And I, you know, I think Atlanta is a perfect place for that.
I agree. Absolutely. Because on the outskirts of Atlanta, there's some really nice areas. Like if you go to the north side, man, there's some beautiful areas out there. And I think with having kids, if you don't do it when you're like really, really young,
Yep.
you need to wait for a while, and not saying do it when you're old, but like maybe in your 30s. That way, like you
Exactly.
said, grind it out, get yourself very well established. That way you can get all that out of your system of everything you want to do,
Yep.
get yourself established, then you start a family.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, it's interesting kind of, you know, what you can end up. I mean, kids doesn't obviously like, you know, halt you from being able to do things,
Right.
you know? And I think, you know, there's so many women that I see, you know, especially in the rap industry that are killing it and have, you know, several kids, even with different people. And it's like, they're still killing it and they're
Yes.
out there all the time. And that's crazy. And I'm like, that is so much work. And I commend you guys for it. I commend you. But I'm like, man, if I can just grind it out on me and spend every dime on me,
Yes.
you know, and it's like, obviously I give back and everything too. I love doing that. But I mean, it's so much better, especially like, you know, being in here in Atlanta with having like, you know, definitely less rent than Denver. You know, it's been good because it's like I can really just take all of this and really invest it into myself and my craft. And I think then that ends up putting me, when I am in my 30s and I do want to have kids, I'm in such a good position to be able to do that and provide everything that I can for them.
Man,
So-
you have it all down pat. I love
Yeah,
it. Yes,
I mean,
ma'am.
Ideally, we'll see.
Absolutely. In a perfect world, it'll turn out like that.
Exactly.
It's God's will, whatever
Yeah.
He wants.
Exactly.
So since you've been in the business and, you know, taking it more seriously, what's the most valuable thing that someone's shared with you? Piece of advice, maybe.
Yeah. I think, you know, honestly, I feel like I don't think it's really been something that somebody's told me as much. Like more of it has been like a vibe, I guess,
Yeah.
that somebody has. And I like definitely, I shout out of all people, it's got to be Where's Dank in Denver, Colorado. He's my mixing engineer. And I
Okay.
used to record with him as well at his studio. And I've done a lot. I've done several EPs with him. I did my whole last album with him. So yeah, I mean, I think he really changed the game for me.
Yes.
As far as just getting really comfortable and figuring out like who I am.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd had a couple other, you know, mixing engineers before that, and I would go in there, and I mean, the track still ended up turning out great, but it was like, I don't know, it just kind of felt like artificial. I don't know. It just
Yeah.
kind of felt weird for me. And I mean, when I first started this, I was recording in my house, like with my own stuff.
Yeah.
And like was my own engineer.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was really weird for me the first few times, like going to these places and just kind of feeling like just not 100% at home,
Yeah.
you know? And when I ended up meeting Where's Dank, like literally within the first session that I had with him, I was like, wow, like, okay, like I can be myself. Like I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not so limited. And there's, you know, I think, you know, especially in the beginning of, you know, being a rapper, it's like I love my raps and like my lyrics and things that I say, but sometimes still to this day, and I know plenty of other people deal with it, where it's like you still like can't stand to hear your own voice sometimes. And so it was like I really dealt with that in the beginning, where it was like, man, like this sounds good, but it's my voice. Like
Yeah.
it's my voice. And like just being with him, I was like, wow, like my voice is an asset to me.
Yeah.
Like, even though it's going to sound weird to me because it's my voice, it's fine, you know? Because, like, I mean, just getting such good feedback from him that, like, even when I would sing, which I was, like, really not super comfortable with, but I was like, I would sing and he was like, that was the best part of the song. You know, and it's like just bringing that confidence out in me and getting me to even just screw around more with ad libs and things like that too,
Yeah.
and just not be afraid. It's just that comfortability has now carried on. Like, it's like when I was in Patchwork, it's like it carried on.
Yes.
You know, because it's like, wow, like I feel a lot more authentic and okay with being myself. Like some people are not going to like it and that's fine.
Yeah.
But you know, some people are really going to vibe off of it.
Yeah.
And it's also, I mean, the relationship that we developed, I mean, we still talk to this day. We've done music videos, we've done songs together, and he still like mixes for me and everything. So
Okay.
I think, you know, for that, just being myself and actually getting somebody to really realize that like it's okay to be different.
Yes.
You know, I think is so huge for me because I mean, I know, especially being out here in Atlanta, like I am very different than everybody else. But yeah, it's just realizing like that's a good thing. You know,
Absolutely.
It's okay to be in your own lane. You don't have to be like everybody else and
That's
saying
right.
the exact same things that everybody else. Like people are gonna like you, and if they like you, that's great. If they don't, that's also okay. But I also like really believe in, you know, the music that I'm making is art, and
Yes.
so if I like it, that's really all I need.
Yes.
You know, of course, I want to be able to make the rest of my life, you know, money and everything
Of
and be
course.
successful with my music. But really, at the end of the day, like there are other things that I do that really do make me happy.
Yeah.
And I feel like just putting out my music and getting the feedback that I do get, that's already great. You
Yes.
know, it's awesome that other people already like my music because really, I'm just producing art and I'm just doing me. You know,
As you should. And that's
Yeah.
dope that you connected with the engineer and you guys got that chemistry with each
Yep.
other.
Yeah.
So you record at Patchwork and do you send him the sessions to mix and master?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
That
mean,
is dope.
Yeah, it's been really good. I think, you know, he was really impressed too with the stuff that came back last time. I think he was worried too because he was like, do not let the other engineer touch anything. And I was like, it's okay. I've got you.
That's so funny.
But yeah, I sent it to him and he sent it back. And I mean, the only thing that kind of sucks is that I used to sit in the studio with him in
Right.
Denver while he would mix it. And so it was crazy because it's like I would sit there and he'd do something and he'd be like, all right, I've never done this before, but we're going to try it.
Yeah.
And then we would do it and we're like, okay, wait. But it's like, you get that like that rush when you hear it.
Absolutely.
There. And it's like still, I mean, being at Patchwork was great because like, I mean, I heard my recording.
Right.
But it's like, man, I miss like being in here with my mixing engineer
Of
and
course.
hearing them mix it and be like, yes, let's go.
Right, because you can give all your input and your feedback and be like, no, let's not do that, or let you know, maybe you guys could FaceTime each other or something.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's just not the same though as actually sitting there with them and you guys got that chemistry.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he needs to move out here to ATL.
I've been telling him, but we'll see. I was like, you know what? I could just like throw you my suitcase and take you with me. But he was like, no, that's not happening. So, but yeah, I mean, he's really making a bag for himself out in Denver and he's starting to make a name for himself. And yeah, definitely props to him. And I'll continue saying my music there. I mean, I definitely want to continue, you know, meeting more mixing engineers and things like that here. And I definitely want to experiment with my music and different sounds and
Yeah.
different people. But he is like the OG. He's the one to go to.
That's
so.
dope. Absolutely. Once you find that engineer that knows how to get your sound the way you want it, you want to stick with that person.
Yep.
It's like finding somebody that, you know, your stylist or whatever that does your hair. Like once they get it down right, it's like you don't want no one else to touch it.
Exactly.
You
Yep.
know, your nails, all that.
Exactly. And the nails is what's important.
That's so hard too, coming to a new city. That was like
Yeah.
one of my biggest things that I worried about because I used to have short hair when I moved here.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, who am I going to find that's going to cut my hair? Because I used to go to a master barber in Tampa who would like slay my hair.
Yeah.
And it took me a couple people going through, you know, finally I said, you know what, let me just grow it out because like I could never find anybody to get it exactly the way I wanted it. So
Yeah.
I definitely understand how that goes.
Yeah, I haven't let anybody touch my hair so far. Like
I
while
like
I've
the
been
two
here.
the two colors. That
Thank
looks really
you.
dope.
But yeah, I haven't let anybody do that. I will say, you know, the nail tech has been something that I've been searching for a while, and I have a good nail tech now.
Okay.
Thankfully.
Okay, good. I was gonna say because
Yeah.
I know one in Conyers, which is not far from
Okay.
Stonecrest. That
Yeah.
if you ever decide you want to try someone else, her name is Anika, and she was my nail tech for a very long time.
Okay.
The only reason I stopped going to her because sis, you're like 45 minutes away from me, so like I need convenience.
Yep.
But she's so amazing. Like
Yeah.
she's dope. So yeah, if you ever need someone else you want to try out. Absolutely,
Yeah,
you can check her out.
absolutely.
So what do you got coming up? What are you working on? Any albums in the works? Talk to us.
Yeah, so definitely, you know, I just put out that album, I would say probably like a month and a half ago. So that album was called Chew It, and I definitely recommend check it out. I also just put out a remastered version.
Okay.
But yeah, so I put out a song last week that was Fallen for You. That has been huge. That's like the first song that I've released while being at Patchwork.
Yeah.
And it's insane hearing the quality of it. I'm just mind blown. But yeah, and then I just released another song yesterday, and that one's Weekend. And that's the big one that I'm promoting. I feel like Fallen for You and Weekend are the ones I'm really going to be pushing. And I'm making a music video for Weekend, so I'm really excited about that. And, just trying to get myself out there. I've got so many more songs that I had recorded that I'm just like waiting to see what I want to do. But I've got some really cool music videos coming up that I'm super excited for.
Awesome.
And more shows too, especially like more open mics and things like that. Really like, putting myself out there. So, but yeah, it's good. But right now I definitely recommend Weekend for sure.
Definitely, if you haven't yet, check out the Coalition DJ's New Music Monday.
Okay.
It's at Stankonia Studios, which is, Outcast Studios. So it's just dope just to be, because that's a part of history in Atlanta. Yeah. But every Monday they do an event called New Music Monday where they have like all the Coalition DJs come out. And there's always, other DJs and stuff. And you perform and then they like critique you, give you feedback. Yeah. But it's a great place to network. Even if you go just to attend to see if you feel the vibe. Right. So that's one of the spots that I always suggest artists go, because a lot of the artists who've made it big have touched that stage there. Yeah. Glorilla's been there. Like, just, shout out to all the artists that's been through this. So definitely check that out. Yeah. Any other ones that I see coming up that would be worth your while, I'll definitely keep you in the loop on it as well. Okay. Yeah. I wish you could have came to my birthday bash. It was a whole vibe.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I saw it. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be at the next one.
Oh yeah. 100%.
I'll keep you in the loop. Anything else you got in the works that you want to make sure everybody knows about?
I don't really think so. I mean, at the moment, right now, I'm just, I'm making a name for myself as far as, I'm going to, finally be on the radio, which I'm super excited for. Yeah. So my music will be playing out on the radio. So that's going to be really exciting.
Absolutely.
I've also put out some billboards as well, which was interesting. So I was like, you know what? Might as well try some other kind of advertising.
100%.
So, yeah. So I've got a billboard that's like over the Poplar Street Bridge in St. Louis, which is amazing to where I'm from. And then, I have 2 here in Georgia, in Atlanta, like in the heart of Atlanta. So, so look out for those for sure.
Yes.
So I've just been, really trying to grind out this music and continue recording and things like that. But music videos are for sure, like, that's my big thing, music videos and, getting shows out. I think is going to be the next big push for me.
What else would you like to see out there for artists to get involved with? Is there anything that you feel like the music industry is lacking? I put this question out on my social media recently, and I honestly didn't really get a response that I was looking for, because everybody's like, more support. I'm like, bro, like, stop whining about support. I'm talking like actual opportunities for artists. Is there anything that you think that, people like myself who are in a position to make something happen, is there anything that you feel is lacking?
So, it's not necessarily lacking, I would say, but I feel like a big thing right now that's been pushed all over the internet is these videos where people are coming out and they have like this hanging microphone in front of them. Yeah. And they're everywhere. Like, who's got the aux? It's crazy. Yeah. And that right now is going crazy.
100%.
And I think, I did one of them back when I was in Denver. I did Goat Talk. And shout out to Vic Ewells. That was awesome. I love that experience. But me and him, we'd also talked about as well when I had done my interview with him. He was like, I kind of want to make it into like a social event where it's not just people coming and like doing this one video, we put it on the internet, whatever. They're like, we should make it where like people are coming in and like people come to attend just to watch and things like that too.
Like an audience there.
Exactly. And he was like, it could be like a great networking event for people and stuff. And I was like, man, that would be awesome. And so that's what he's doing over in Denver right now, which is crazy. And he's like slowly developing that over time. And I'm really excited for that. But I think doing something like that, just because there's so many of them out there right now.
Now my wheels are turning.
Yeah. But it's like, and I love them. People are getting pretty big, like these just, random videos all over the place. And I feel like Atlanta is a really big place for them right now. People are going crazy with these videos in Atlanta. And
I
agree.
Like,
that's all I see all over my social media. And it's like, why not make this into like a networking event?
Absolutely. It's great content. And, I like the fact that you say, because it's funny, back in Tampa before I moved here, you know what speed dating is, right?
Oh, yeah.
So me and my partner that I was working with in Tampa, we did an event called Speed Networking.
Okay.
And it was so dope. We made the newspaper and everything because nobody had ever done anything like that. So we basically had we had an audio engineer, we had a publicist, we had an artist manager, we had a graphic designer.
Okay.
And they all sat at different tables. And then all the artists that came in, and we had probably, I don't even know, but it was a packed out event. They were
Yeah.
having to stand in line to get in. They were stopping at each table and networking
Yep.
with those people. So it was speed networking. And
Yeah.
I was like, man, I need to do something like that here too, because a lot of people don't know how to network.
Exactly.
You
yeah.
know?
I mean, and I think, you know, a lot of people here in Atlanta are native, but also a lot of people too are coming in here are
Yes.
not 100% familiar with the rap scene. So I
Right.
think that's a huge thing, you know, being able to network. I think, I mean, really at the end of the day, I mean, your music can be great, but I feel like it's really the time and the place who you're meeting. There's so many artists out there and we all know them.
Yeah.
Don't even need to say names where it's like the quality is not there with,
Right.
with you know, it's like, how are you where you are? But it's because of the people that they know. It's because of the network that they've created for themselves. And so I think, you know, that's huge. I mean, especially even, you know, publicists are great and,
Yeah.
you know, having like different engineers and things like that too. But I think honestly, one of my favorite parts about being a rapper and being an artist in general has been just collaborating with other artists
Yeah,
too.
there you go.
And I think that's such a huge piece is like a lot of people right now are getting really big because of a feature that they're doing with somebody else.
Right.
And I think that that's crazy. Like that's such a good opportunity to get people out there and to be able to like, I mean, if you could do like a speed networking event
Yeah.
with like different rappers and stuff
There
too,
you go.
I mean, that would be crazy to do that. So like people can actually see like, do we have a vibe or not in this 5
Right,
minutes? Like if we
right.
do, okay, let me get your number. Like let's hook up. Cause it's like, I mean, I feel like honestly music is so much better when it's not just created by one individual person. Like,
Right.
the more ears that you're getting to listen to it, the more people that are working on it, I feel like, I mean, it can really be something beautiful. you know?
Absolutely. I agree. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead and let everybody know where they can follow you at.
Okay, so on, actually on Facebook and on Instagram, I'm going to be I am Trust No One.
Okay.
All one word. But yeah, follow me there. I'm also on TikTok as well. Same username as well. But yeah, we're getting somewhere, you know, we're getting some traction. So definitely follow me for sure.
I know that's right. Anybody you want to shout out to? I know you mentioned a few people along the
Yeah.
conversation. Anybody you want to shout out to?
Yeah, well, you know, definitely shout out to people I already did, you know, Visuals and Where's Dang. I think they've really gotten me a lot of places and made me feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Also wanted to shout out to Breeze because he's the reason why I decided to you know, reach out to
Yes.
you. So, yeah, definitely like go check out his music as well. But yeah, even just, you know, like the last couple artists that I've, you know, done music with, definitely like shout out to Simple. He is back in my hometown.
Yeah.
And he is amazing. He's such a small, like independent rapper doing his own thing, but he's also really making a lane for himself. And just like the crazy amount of support that I get from him and us sending our music back and forth with each other is just great. So definitely recommend him as well. But yeah, and then also just, you know, shout out to, you know, my family and my friends. They've just been so supportive, you know, Madison and Mariah and my dad and my moms and my sister. I mean, everybody has just been crazy supportive. Daniel, I'm not forgetting about you. But yeah, I mean, everybody has just been so crazy supportive and has been going out to my shows and has been sharing my things and, you know, really, you know, helping me. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate the free advertisement and the love. So
That's always good.
yeah.
Last but not least, we are live, Industry's Most Wanted. We got my girl Trust in the building.
Yeah.
Go ahead and let everybody know what makes you the industry's most wanted.
I am the industry's most wanted because I am different, because I am creating my own lane for myself. I'm making my own type of music. Every song is different. No song is the same. I'm making moves with other people, you know, making, you know, collaborations and stuff. And I'm really trying to get myself somewhere. So
I know that's right. Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
working hard.
Well, I can't wait to work with you more. I'm excited about you being here. I'm excited
you.
to get to know you more. I'm excited about going hiking with you.
Absolutely.
All that. Absolutely. We out of here, y'all.
All right.
Caught a vibe, it's cohesion, making my mission to please him. And he ain't gotta ask me why, cause I know he the reason. It's the heat when we meet and I ride the